Hello and welcome. It's Debbie from acrylicpouring.com, and today I'm carrying out another swiping experiment. So in the past I've done swipes of all kinds, swiping with white, swiping with black, swiping from the centre out, swiping in both directions, and some of them have turned out really well for me and some of them have been disastrous and have been completely washed off. This tile that I've got prepared today is an unlucky tile. It's been prepared and gessoed and then used for several other projects, none of which have ever worked out, and is constantly being washed off. So I've got nothing to lose if I try again with something today and it doesn't work out again. So I've got everything set up. I've got some paints. I've got a white, a black, a red and a little bit of gold. And I've got my tile level. I like to use these little levels here that will tell me that it's level in both directions. So in the event that I do create something that I like, then I know that I can safely leave it and not come back an hour later and find it's all drained away. So what I'm going to do, I've actually got a bit of red left over from previous projects, so I'm just going to throw that down in the centre here and just use that one up to start with. I don't like to waste anything at all, even a little drop of paint, which is why I use these little pots, so that if I have bits and pieces left over I can save them. But I've also switched now to using these bottles, and I find it's useful. I can mix up a whole load of the kind of the most basic colours and use those first of all, and they're easy to apply. You can just kind of squirt them on, that works. And I can make a whole load at once, just shake it up when it's good to use, and easy. Nice and controllable by having the little spout there. So I'm wondering whether it's a bit too thick. I'm inspired today by a guy I've seen on Facebook a number of times called Casey. Seen him in some of the painting groups, and wow, this guy is the king of swipes. Absolutely phenomenal. His swipes turn out awesome every time, and so I'm going to try and do maybe something a bit like it today. But his paints often look quite thin. He creates awesome cells every time, great big juicy cells, and I'm wondering whether it's to do with his paints being thin or not, because when he puts them on they run off the canvas pretty much straight away, run all over the place, whereas mine seem a little bit thicker. So I'll be interested today to give this a try and see how it turns out. So I've got my red and gold there. Now what I'm going to do is put black on this one side. I'm going to swipe with black first of all in the one direction. Let's put plenty of that on there. And I'm also using a different tool. In the past I've used this kind of scraper tool, and it's very hard. For one, it doesn't quite get the edges and I end up having to do two swipes, so that doesn't help. But also I find it hard to get even pressure without actually scraping it too hard and scraping the paint away. So I've got this little paint card from the DIY store, and I thought, hey, if this works, these would be great because I can pick up loads of these and throw in my handbag every time I go in the store. And then just, you know, either rinse them if that'll work, or I can throw it away. So let's try swiping with this. If it doesn't work, I've still got this tool on hand. So I'm going to swipe with the black first of all. Oh dear, that's a lot of black. Okay. Right, that's a bit more than I was intending there. I've obviously got too much black paint. Right, so what I want to do now is try and swipe in the other direction with some white. So let's see what happens. If I turn this card around and try and do it without getting my hands all messy. Oh dear. See, Casey makes it look so easy, whereas clearly it isn't. Okay. So let's give that a minute and see what happens when we let the paint settle. I certainly haven't got the great big immediate juicy cells coming through that he has. And with my paint being as thick as it was, I think maybe that's the difference. I really need to try and create this, mix some paints specifically which are thicker. So I've got a little thin patch there, so let me just fill some of that in a minute. A little bit more gold on the top. And then if I put some white here, maybe I can use the edge of my card and just try and sweep down through the centre. Ah, mess. Absolute mess. Isn't it frustrating when people make it look so easy and you try and do it yourself and it's really never the same? So let's zoom in and take a look anyway, see what happens. There we go, as it comes back into focus. So anyway, I've got some interesting effects with the black, the white and the red all mixing in, but I haven't got these really big cells that I was hoping for, and again, I think that is a lot to do with paint consistency. So I'm just going to give this a blast with my torch and see what happens. Whoa! Okay, that's having a big effect. Goodness, that did have a big effect. I wasn't expecting quite that much. Oh, now that looks really good. Now there's some really interesting areas here. This area here with the little black with the red popping through, and some of these areas with the white, and there's a nice bit of gold. Now I've got this little white patch here, so do I try and do something with that or do I leave it? Oh, I've got to try and do something with that. Should I use my finger? I think my finger is going to be the most delicate tool, so let's see if I can just swipe over the red a little bit and torch it again. See, I may have ruined it. I may have made it worse. Oh, I actually caught the paint on fire, so yeah, that definitely made it worse. My torch is a little bit fierce. So, I'm actually liking this. That patch there, not so much. I did spoil that a little bit, but I'm liking it enough. I'm thinking I need to touch up these edges and corners because this is may well be a keeper. A bit black and gold in this corner, black and red rather. Now black and red are my husband's favourite colours. It's his absolute favourite colour combination, so normally he doesn't like dark colours, and all the dark kind of rich coloured paintings that I like to do, he doesn't like them, even though I like them very much. But I think when he sees this one, he may change his mind, and this may well become my husband's favourite painting. Got lots of little bits of gold and things coming through now. I'm a bit disappointed about this corner, but I think if I try and fix it anymore, I'll probably not make it any better, I'll just make it worse. So I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes and just see what happens. Well, it was looking so nice that I thought, wow, I really must torch these edges. I know the tile doesn't have much of an edge, but I had some beautiful designs and things coming over the side. I thought, well, I'll just torch around these edges. And of course my torch is really fierce and I nearly had a disaster. Look what happened. I was on a plastic cup and I torched the, as I torched the side, the heat melted the cup and the whole thing just sort of went and started to fall over because I've only got it on 2 cups, but luckily I managed to catch it in time. I caught it underneath without sticking any of my fingers in it, so I think it's a save. So although it didn't turn out exactly as I was hoping, I didn't get the really great big cells that Casey was getting with his swipes. I really like the effect. The red and gold with the black and white coming through, absolutely gorgeous. My husband is going to die for this. My little swipe cards, well, they didn't hold up very well. They're clearly single use, but they worked, certainly. But I should have had more than one so that I could have reused it. What's on the back of the card here is really nice too. So that looks pretty, but I don't think I'll be able to use it for anything. I just need to throw those away, which is a shame because I don't like throwing anything away. When I use all the plastic cups and all the little tubs and everything like that, all of this stuff gets washed up and reused. Even my popsicle sticks, you can see that they've been used plenty of times, so I don't like to waste anything. So I'm always disappointed when I melt a cup or waste a little something. But I think for this great project it's been worth it. So I'm going to leave this one to dry. I'm going to just bring the camera down to show you the details, and of course if you stick around to the end I will show you the finished result when it's all dried and varnished too. So there we go, this is the finished view from my side. I did actually pick up a little something with my palette knife and just added some extra paint to that corner, gave it a little bit of a torch, and I think I've managed to save that. It also balances by having a little bit of the black on this side too. So I'm happy. Some of these details of the cells. I love the triple coloured cells. Look at that. I mean, I've only got 3 colours on here. Well, a bit of gold, but the red, the black and the white, and the fact that they all join together to make these kind of patterns, absolutely fascinating. So Here's a few more of the details. A little bit of the gold coming through in places. It's a bit more of the gold back here. Got some really nice cells just here. Look at those, absolutely fabulous. And also over on the side here. Very, very nice. So I'm calling this one a success. I was actually pleasantly surprised. Didn't turn out how I wanted, but it turned out better than I expected. So that's a bonus. So hang around to the end and I'll show you what it looks like finished. So here it is finished. Absolutely gorgeous. The definition of the cells, how they're lined here with the white. I'm really surprised that the white and the red didn't make a pink, but the white just beautifully surrounded the cells here and here. Got some elements of pink, which is nice, but also some brighter areas. Here, got some really nice like triple cells. Got a white outline with a black cell and then the red in the middle, which is nice. And there's a nice patch that I really like just here, where we've got some gold and red and black and white all together. So overall, I'm counting this one as a huge success. I really, really love it. I think it looks very luxurious, very glamorous. And of course my husband loves the colours too because they're his favourites. So everyone is a winner with this one. So yeah, give these colours a go. Red, black, white and gold. You're going to create something glorious, I'm sure. So thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Hop on over to acrylicpouring.com and I'll be delighted to see you there.